It's 12:04, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then we'll ease into the webinar session starting at 12:30. If you have any questions after this initial training and we're not done by the time 12:30 rolls around, you can stay on the meeting and ask me questions, or you can also just shoot us an email to the concierge@danielhouse.club, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. This is also the first training session that we are going to be recording, and we are going to start recording these sessions moving forward. So we will have these up and available to all of you so that you can go back and reference them at any time. So we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us. My name is Robert Fodor. I'm the VP of Sales for the company. And these training sessions we started back in November, and we thought this was just a really good way to have a regular recurring meeting with all of our members. You don't have to be a brand new member. You can be a member who's been with us for 6 months or a year or 2 years. And it's a good way to just have a refresher. And for this training session today, we're also having a special guest who is one of our shipping partners. And we're going to continue with having special guests with varied subject matters moving forward. And we think that those will just be good educational sessions for everybody to access and also participate in. And we realize that not everybody's able to be here in person, and that's one of the reasons why we just started to record the sessions as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take myself off of screen, and I'm going to go ahead and start with a demo of the site and how to log into the site. But if you have questions, please feel free to just let out your questions if you see fit. And if you're comfortable doing that, I will also be periodically checking the chat to see if anybody has a question via chat. But you can always just unmute yourself and ask a question as we go along if something isn't confusing or something just isn't making sense to you. So I'm going to go ahead and take myself off of camera, and then I'm going to share my screen out with you, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my screen now. This is the main homepage that you come to when you access Daniel House Club. People are probably familiar with it at this point. A couple of things to point out. We will always have promotional items up here at the top. So for example, we have all 4 hands items shipped for free. And we also have the same right now for Curry & Company relative to any orders for those items. So anytime you see the banner up here, it will have updated information on any current promotional information. A couple of things relative to the website before we actually log into the website is if you click on our logo here on the far left, you will always be returned to our homepage, and that's to the storefront homepage. The top level menus here, there are a couple of things that you can do relative to searching and also just burrowing further down into a category or a subcategory that you may be looking for. If you click on shop, you can go to any one of these categories. And then also if you see something that you let's say on one of our vendors' websites that's just not on our website, that is sometimes an occurrence. Sometimes we don't have the complete catalogs up for the vendors. You can click on Sourcing Concierge and just click on, click on the We'll Find It For You. And this will take you to a form submission. So you can just put in your name, your email, your phone number, and then just indicate here, please add, let's say 4 hands, dresser or something to that effect. You can also provide a link here if you wish. So if you have a link to a particular vendor's website, you can also do that as well. And that way, what we'll do is we can send a request and have the item put up onto Daniel House so that you can put it into a cart and purchase the item. We do have also a shop new stuff link, so you can actually look at new items that have been put on the website, and then also just a quick link to shop in-stock items. Generally, in-stock items ship with a 1 to 2 week or a 2 to 3 week lead time, just so everybody knows. The next link over is for our vendors that we work with. This is our current list of all of our vendors. There are some that are not indicated on here because we don't have their full catalogs up yet. I encourage you to email us or phone us if you have any questions regarding a specific vendor that's not listed here. We can let you know if we work with them or if we have reached out to them, and if we are in the process of potentially adding them as a vendor as well. Similar to the shopping link where you can use the sourcing concierge, under the Our Vendors, there's also a sourcing concierge here for another form submission link where you can indicate if you wanted to potentially have us look at a particular vendor for potential submission onto Daniel House Club. So you have the ability to send that to us as well. The artisan vendor link, this is something that we're actually going to be expanding pretty significantly over the next year. These are going to be small businesses, modern craft makers, folks who have a very, very specialized product that they offer. And we really feel like this fits with the ethos of our company in that we bring the most unique items to our audience. And so we're going to really be expanding this out in the next, hopefully, 6 to 12 months. The trade program information, this just gives you information on, what Daniel House is, how to join the club, etc. All of you pretty much know that at this point. There are also student accounts that we set up. So we have information on student accounts. And then there's also, under the About Us section, there is a frequently asked questions section, which I find very helpful. It goes through some of the more commonly asked questions. I think one of the best ones that we've put up recently is around how to recommend using a receiver and why to use a receiver. So if you just expand that window, you'll see here, we actually wrote an entire bulletin post about it. You can click on the hyperlink here to look at that. And this just gives you a brief synopsis of when and why to use receivers. And then we also have a hyperlink here to a list of select vetted receivers across the country that you can work with. And so that's a really great resource. But do have a look at our frequently asked questions section. That's something that we are always working on. And we are also always adding to. The only other thing that I just want to point out here is our affiliate program. This is if you've been working with Daniel House for a while and you're pleased with working with us, we do have an affiliate program, so you can earn up to $50 for every designer member who joins Daniel House, and you also get a % of their purchases. So if you wish to become an affiliate member, just click on the hyperlink here and it'll walk you through the process on how to start becoming an affiliate for Daniel House. Similarly, you can look at our club bulletin. These are actually just archived club bulletin that you can use and reference as you see fit. These are also emailed out, but we do have an archive of them as well. So to use the site, you click login, and I'm just going to go ahead and use my own account here to log into the system. And you'll see here, once I'm logged in, it will actually display my name up here. And then I also have links to look at projects. I can look at my account. And then, of course, I can also log out from here as well. When you log in, however, it will take you to your dashboard. And a couple of things within the main dashboard here that I want to point out. First and foremost, these videos are fantastic. This takes you through a step-by-step instruction on how to utilize Daniel House Club to your benefit and to use it most effectively. So we start with creating a project, then we go to adding a board. The board is actually going to be basically used almost like an inspiration or a mood board. And then you start shopping and adding items to that board. And then you share the cart out with your clients and lastly, complete the purchase. So there are instructional videos at every step of the way for you to access at any time on YouTube. I think this is great because I never remember things when I look at them in a training, but as long as I have the ability to go back and look at them, it's great. If we scroll down here, we have more information. So here's some recent projects that I created. And if we click into the projects, then you can see, oh, okay, well, I have one board here, and we're going to go ahead and click on that board for that particular part of the project. And this will indicate to me the items that I've selected for this particular project. So we have obviously sofas, we have many different items, lighting. It will also show me what my total is for this based upon how I set up this particular project and board. Now, if I want to go in and I'm just clicking on the back button here, if I want to add a new project, I would just click on new project here and I would indicate the name. So I'm just going to indicate my first name, my last name, and then what the project is. Let's just say, so use the address here. Now, the next thing that you have is the ability to share out a percentage of your discount. If you don't want to, if you want to just pass through your discount to your client, you would just indicate here that you want to pass through 100% of your discount. If you only want to share 50% of your discount, you would indicate 50. If you're not doing any discount, you would just put 0 and you would just leave it as the default. Most designers will do either 100% or some fraction thereof. So I'm just going to say I'm going to share 75% of my discount with my client. I can also put in here what the estimated project total is. So let's just say $20,000. You also have the ability to put in here an FFM budget. I'm just going to leave that alone for right now. And then I'm putting in, obviously, the site address information. Filling all this information in very quickly. And then lastly, just the phone number. And that can be the phone number of the client, or it could be your phone number, either way. And then I create the project. And then what I can do now is I can create boards within this particular project for, let's say, a dining room or a living room or whatever the case might be. You might just elect to have a single board for the entire project, which is totally fine. But a lot of times people want to have a separate board for each room. Let me just let somebody in here. Oh, I think somebody actually let them in. That's great. So when I'm creating a new board for this project for, let's say, the living room, I'm going to click on the new board button here, and I'm going to say this is now living room. Again, if you wanted to break down your discount by room, let's say maybe the living room is going to give you, it's going to be a big challenge, and you might not want to give as much of your discount to your client for the living room versus another room. You do have the ability to change it by board. So you don't just have it at the project level, you can actually change it at the board level as well. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it the same because I know that I'll still make money with a 75% of my discount applied. And I'm just going to click on create board. And then now what I can do is I can start putting items into this particular board. I can just click on get started, or I can actually just go back out to the main page here. And let's say I know I want to look at sofas and love seats. So I'm going to click on that. And I really like this Art Deco sofa here from Uttermost. So I'm just going to click on that. And then I click rather than adding to cart, because what that does is that just adds it to a generic cart. It's not going to add it to a specific project that you created already. Once I click on Save to Project, now I can look at any one of the project boards that I created and add it to that. You can add it to also multiple projects as well. So I'm just going to click on the one that I just created, and you saw there it says that it was added to the project, and then I can continue to shop for other items. So if we go back to the project dashboard, and now I click on the project that I just created, you'll see the item there for the living room board that I just added to that particular board. One other thing I just want to point out is the moment that you create your first project and also your first board, and then also start adding items into a cart for that, we do have a special promotion where you get free shipping for 30 days upon starting your first cart. So just know that if you have not placed an order yet, you do have the ability to have 30 days of free shipping once you actually create your first project cart. So that's a real nice thing to note. And then if we go back to the dashboard page here, then you have the ability to basically click into any existing project, or you can also just click into create a new project or a new board like we did before. If we go back to the main dashboard screen here, I can actually go in here and look to see, okay, well, I created this living room project and I really don't need this anymore because let's just say the client went away or whatever the case might be. You do have the ability to delete a cart from here if you wish, and you can also archive it as well. So I'm going to go back into the project that I just created, and I want to share this particular piece out with my client so that they can pay for it. When I click on Create Cart, two options show up. One is called Bill to Client, and the other is called Bill to Me. If I click on Bill to Client, I can select the board that I want to share, and then click Create Cart. And then I can put in my client's email address here. I'm just going to put in my own email address. And you can still change the discount even at this point before you actually send your cart to your client. So if for whatever reason you've invested more time and effort into the project, you can still elect to change it at this point. Another thing is that you can either check or uncheck this box, which allows your client to remove products before completing their checkout or not. So if you check that box, that means that they will have the ability to remove. If you uncheck it, that means they will not have the ability to remove. They will only see the price that has been passed through to them. They will not see your pricing at all. So whatever percentage of your discount you have shared out with your client is the only thing that they will see. And I also want to point out when they get the items, because these items ship as drop ship from the vendors, they only have a packing slip. So they will never have an invoice with any sort of dollar figure attached to them. It will just be the packing slip. So then I can go to select shipping as my next option. We ship only within the United States and Canada. And then this gives me the ability to select what type of service I want. Residential curbside is just that. It is curbside delivery. They bring it either curbside or to a threshold if you don't have a curbside, but they will not bring the package in and they will not unwrap it. Expedited curbside means that it actually ships with a 1 to 2 week lead time rather than a 2 to 4 week lead time if the item is in stock. And then room of choice is also a really nice option if you don't want to go with full white glove, but room of choice will give you the option to have the item placed into the room of choice and also have all the packaging removed. I encourage people to also note any sort of damage at this point. If there is any damage to the box, you will want to note that on the proof of, because that will be extremely important if there is any damage to the piece moving forward when we go to file a claim. This is something that we'll be talking about in our training session today, but I just want to point that out. White glove delivery is literally white glove. It is everything. They do everything cradle to grave with the delivery of the item, the unpackaging, the placement, the assembly. The only thing that is not done is installing an item. And what I mean by that is, let's say you've purchased some shelving. They will assemble the shelving but they will not install the shelving onto a wall. And then if I click on preview cart here, oh, it's asking me to select, I need to do that. Then I go to preview cart and I can say, okay, this was created on this date. It's for the living room. This is going to my client. This is for this project. And then all of these items here that I've selected. You can still go back and edit if you need to before you send the cart and share it out with your client. And then I just click send. And then it will say success, your cart has been sent. Once you add the client's email to the system, they will receive an email that looks exactly like this. And it says an account has been created for you. And they can click on the link here to go to their account that was created for them. So you do not need to point them in the direction of creating an account. One is already created for them under your account. And it's a link to your account when you share the cart. Once you share the cart out, they will receive a second email that says your designer has shared a cart with you. And then there's a hyperlink here that they can click on the red button to take them directly to the cart that was shared out with them. I am going to go back to see if there's any questions. There are not any questions just yet. All right. So do we have any questions around creating a project, creating a board, and then also creating a cart and sharing out that cart with your client? All right. If you, for whatever reason, want to archive a project, let's say you're done with the project, you want to archive it, there is a link here for archiving. And you can check to see, okay, I have a whole bunch of projects that I've archived here, and we can just access those as well. All right. Another thing, if you ever need to access your account information, your member account information, you do have the ability to just click on the account link here, and you can click, if you have a free account or a pro account, you can click on upgrade my account, and that will take you to the screen to upgrade your account to either a pro or a pro plus account. I do want to talk a little bit about the different levels of membership, because some of you may have free accounts, some of you may have pro, and others may have pro plus. If you're doing a lot of purchasing, it makes more sense to have a pro plus account, even though it is the most expensive of our account offerings, the membership levels. It will pay for itself probably within the first order or maybe the first couple of orders. With the full management of what we do with our concierge service, we handle obviously logistics for you, any damage claims or defects. I will tell you that the amount that that is being charged on a per month basis or an annual basis just makes complete sense if you're doing a lot of purchasing. You do have the ability to either upgrade or downgrade at any time. So there are no annual contracts that we have. But you do have the ability to do that on a monthly basis. So if there's a time when you're going to be doing a lot of purchasing, you may wish to upgrade to Pro Plus. And then a couple months down the road, if you have maybe a lull or you're going on vacation, you can downgrade to a Pro account as well. You can also change your address here. So if you wanted to change your physical billing address, you can change that information by just clicking on view addresses, and that will allow you to edit. And then under the dashboard link, that just really takes you out to where we were at before, which is the main dashboard screen. That is really it.